8 years, 10 months, 9 days. That's how long it has taken for Final Fantasy XV, formerly known as Versus 13, to finally reach playable form for mass audiences. And even then, we are only talking about the demo version, titled Final Fantasy XV Episode Duscae. Those who were fortunate enough to pick up a copy of the Day 1 edition of Final Fantasy Type 0 and to snag a download voucher for Duscae are in for a treat. It's unusual for me to be reviewing a demo, but I have to make an exception for Episode Duscae, because it is a rather extensive demo. It's a lot like Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes in that it's more of a prologue meant to introduce players to the main game's gameplay mechanics. Now, unlike Ground Zeroes, which was created and sold as a standalone game and acts as an entirely separate entity from the main game, Episode Duscae is a chunk from the actual final game, so I won't be giving out a review score until the final game ships. But I do want to share my impressions on what Duscae has to offer and the glimpses it gives for what looks to be an incredibly bright future. Duscae's premise is simple. Noctis's car has broken down, leaving our 4 protagonists stranded in the wilderness. While they've managed to get the car to a repair shop, there's one major problem. They're broke and can't pay for the repairs. So their mission is simple: raise enough money to repair the car. That's easier said than done, however. The damage to the car was extensive, so repair costs are a whopping 24,000 gils. Fortunately, the gang stumbles upon a wanted sign for a 25,000 gils bounty on a massive creature called the Behemoth that goes by the name Deadeye. By hunting Deadeye down, they would be able to earn all the money they need in one fell swoop. Desperate times, desperate measures. This one quest becomes the player's singular focus in Duscae, but it's not as simple as waltzing in through the front door and laying waste to the creature. Players will have to track it down, follow it to its lair, and find a way to defeat it. The task was surprisingly multi-layered, taking a little less than 2 hours to finish the entire questline, more if distracted by the myriad of other side quests. Whereas most JRPGs make their quests the typical generic MMORPG fetch quest, Final Fantasy XV seems to be going for something more extensive and dynamic, which is refreshing. If the final game can make every quest as extensive and multi-layered as this, I'm going to be one happy gamer. In order to complete this quest, players will have to traverse the game's vast open world. The land in Duscae is only a small portion of Final Fantasy XV's full map, but it somehow still manages to feel immense and brimming with life. Duscae's massive map only scratches the surface for what the full Final Fantasy XV experience has to offer, so I can only imagine how vast the full game world will be. Most impressive of all is how seamless the entire world is. As far as I could tell, there was nary a loading screen to be found, save for the game's initial startup. This was a vital aspect in making me feel fully immersed in the world. Final Fantasy XV has even one-upped Elder Scrolls games in its openness, as towns, ruins, caves, and dungeons can all be traversed without the presence of a loading screen. The world is not only vast, seamless, and immersive, but also beautiful. The vistas that the game offers are truly breathtaking with its blend of modern-day and fantastical elements. There is beauty to be found in the little things as well, like character and object models, as well as animations, and the game features some of the best rendered hair I have seen. But where the game truly shines is in its gameplay. The nearly decade-long wait certainly diminished some of my hype for the game, but what little glimpse Duscae provided has revitalized my excitement. My biggest worry was combat. When I looked at old gameplay footage, combat looked slow, floaty, and clunky. Fortunately, all my worries have been vanquished with the latest build of the game. Combat focuses on 4 basic elements mapped to 4 buttons: attack, dodge, special abilities called techniques, and warp, and how players combine these elements under different scenarios and circumstances will make the difference between success and failure. Further adding to Final Fantasy XV's combat's simplistic depth is the ability to rearrange weapons to serve different purposes in battle. In Duscae, there are 5 slots in which weapons could be placed: Crush, Ravage, Vanquish, Counter, and Descend, which respectively represent Initial Strike, the first attack in a combo from when you hit square; Melee Barrage, the attacks following the first strike when you hold square; Lethal Force Strike, the final killing blow on an enemy; Retaliatory Swipe after dodge, the attack executed after dodging; and Crushing Blow from on high, the attack executed in the air. Noctis will behave differently in battle based on how you arrange these weapons in these slots, as all weapons have different attack powers, speeds, and techniques. It's a very unique system that will allow players to customize a style of combat that caters to them. The camera could use a bit of work as it occasionally struggles to catch up with all the ensuing action on screen, and the collision engine still needs some tweaking, but there is still a lot of time left for Square Enix to work out minor kinks like these. One major gripe I have about Duscae is that it failed to show off one of the most important aspects of a Final Fantasy game, its RPG mechanics. While the demo did feature leveling, it didn't really seem to do much apart from increasing attack, defense, health, and MP. The demo does hint that leveling will yield new techniques in the final game, but not much else was demonstrated. My hope is that leveling will play an overarching role in all aspects of character progression, from the weapons and armors that can be equipped to the powers that can be used. As far as I could tell, the demo didn't feature any new pieces of gear, so it was impossible to grasp leveling's influence in this respect. Players can find what are called Armature Weapons, but rather than being equipable weapons, these are powers residing within ancient artifacts that Noctis can take for himself. These powers can then be used no matter what level Noctis is, at least in Duscae, so they too fail to provide insight into how Final Fantasy XV's leveling, character progression, and RPG mechanics will work. What was there was intriguing though. I particularly liked the game's camping system. Basically, the only way to level up is by camping and resting. Players will gain and build up experience points by fulfilling quests or engaging in battle, but it's not until players make camp that the experience points are distributed to the characters. This makes camping and resting an essential part of the game, like how it's an essential part of basic human survival. The game actually takes important human necessities like resting, eating, and sleeping, and turns it into a gameplay mechanic that makes sense without making it a chore. In fact, I look forward to camping to see my characters level up and become more powerful with each passing day. Apart from the reservations on showcasing the game's RPG mechanics, Duscae does an excellent job of providing a glimpse for what looks to be a bright future for Final Fantasy XV. A simple scenario paved the way for an epic 2 hours worth of adventuring on an expansive, lush, breathing, living open world, giving us enough of a sneak peek at Square Enix's vision for Final Fantasy XV to enthrall us once again. If the developers can take advantage of the remaining development time to work out all the kinks and finish what they started almost a decade ago, they just might give us gamers one of the best JRPGs of all time. So there you have it folks, my review of Final Fantasy XV Episode Duscae. To be further updated on more reviews, stay tuned on Yong. I'll see you guys next time. Yong out!